Welcome to the Coast to Coast Podcast World Cup edition here as we roll along in the World's Tournament. Nate, Josh, and Mike all back with you guys here for our third episode now as we're going to be looking at a few of the futures, kicking off things here with some USA talk as they take on Turkey coming up here on Thursday. And then we'll get into a few other bets that we like as well, mostly about these third games and who needs to move forward and why we like goals or certain teams to win as a result. So let's kick it off with some of this talk of USA Turkey, guys. And we'll talk about the first bet that Nate is bringing up here, which is not only obviously are they going to advance at this point, they'll then win their round of 32 game as well, which there's a 60% chance looking like it's going to be Bosnia and Herzegovina. So we'll get into a lot more about this upcoming match here, but I'm sure you'll touch on it a little bit, Nate, and tell us why you like them to reach the round of 16.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. It's Bosnia, most likely the third place team from Group B. There's a slight chance that they could get Senegal or Ecuador. It's probably going to be Ecuador, but it's only like 5% chance as far as who the first knockout game will be for the U.S. So the odds tell the story. Like, they're heavily expected to be able to beat Bosnia, a team that just got absolutely smoked by Switzerland. And then in the round of 16, that's where it gets interesting. It's like still potentially a pretty easy path. There's obviously a lot more permutations once you get to that. You can't project it, but it could be Egypt. It could be the winner of that group, and the winner of Egypt versus, let's say, Senegal, the third place team in that group of death, with Norway and France probably forcing Senegal down to third. U.S. beat Senegal in the friendly, right? I mean, that was close, but certainly these are potentially winnable games. There's also a possibility it's Ecuador or Uruguay as the third place team that faces that Egypt group winner. All these games are on the West Coast. Santa Clara for the round of 32, in Seattle for the round of 16. So I'm asking you guys, like, do you think any of this is actionable right now? Now that we kind of have the path laid out, we said we didn't want to bet, take slight plus money before we knew who they might be lining up against. But this is a very nice draw for the U.S.
Yeah, I think these are really great matchups for the U.S. Bosnia just hasn't looked very dangerous at all in either of their games. Against Canada, just kind of boring. And then, as you said, Nate, they got destroyed the other day. So Switzerland, who doesn't even have that great of an attack, made them look just absolutely amateur. So I really like U.S. to win if Bosnia is who they end up drawing against. At minus 280, there's just not a ton of value in that round. But for the second one here, to reach the round of 8, playing against, Egypt or whoever is the third place matchup for them, I like that a lot more. Egypt's looked okay, but I think U.S. is just a much deeper team, much more complete team. Egypt's got two good players, Marmoush up top. Mo Salah, Egypt looked great the other night against New Zealand, but I don't know. I think U.S. at plus 115, that's some pretty strong value there.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit surprised by these numbers at plus 115. Like, you can get the U.S. even money against Turkey in this upcoming game. You can argue Turkey's as good as or better than, let's say, a team like Bosnia, maybe not even better than Egypt necessarily. I just think the likelihood that you just roll over you bet the money line at minus 280, then you roll it over. You're in the knockout stage at that point where the money lines are going to be a little bit pricier because of the fact that obviously someone's going to win. The draw is no longer an option, but it's still going to be worth it to just sort of like roll it over. So I just don't really believe in the futures at this point. I do think it's interesting though to talk about the upcoming game, because there's a little bit of strategy and not necessarily cat and mouse, because the U.S. is in control of what they do. There's not going to be this reaction from Turkey based on what the U.S. team does in terms of their starting 11. If they come out with the same guys, how many minutes they might play starters if they do come out with their normal starting 11. I think everybody being healthy, including Pulisic, which we've all been talking about and monitoring. monitoring. And then you have Wes McKennie, who time seemed a little bit dinged up. They'd love to give him a little bit of rest, I'm sure, as well. Either way, though, like the key for me is going to be they want to win this game. They've never won 3 games in a World Cup ever. And you can talk about 1930 when they ended up making it to the semifinals, because the semifinals occurred right after the group stage back in 1930. So a lot different, a lot fewer wins available at that point. I think they want to go for it. Like, this would automatically make them they're already the best team. I think we can all agree on that, but this would make them far and away the most successful team. There's no reason to not want to go into the next round with momentum, with maintaining your just winning ways at this point and belief in yourselves. I just don't think you want to have any letdown. So I think the most likely scenario is that there's goals in this game, and I think the U.S. tries to get them a bit early so they can feel like they can rest guys and take Pulisic out at the half, for example. Weston McKennie perhaps as well, especially because you have those 5 subs. I think you want to get guys and keep guys in rhythm rather, and just prove that you can continue to be the goal-scoring machines that you have. I'll take them against a Turkey team that has yet to score with their attacking forwards in the World Cup and was scoreless last game as well.
Yeah, I'm not touching this game, I think, until I see the lineup come out. With that Australia game got really chippy at the end and yellow cards started getting handed out left to right. So at this point, the U.S. has 4 players sitting on yellow cards: Tyler Adams, Jedi Robinson, Chris Richards, and Flo Balogun, arguably the 4 most important players. So in a game that U.S. doesn't have to get a result in, I'm not sure you play them, because having them pick up a stupid yellow because they're intense athletes who always put out 100% only shoots you in the foot for the knockout game. So I could see them sitting them. I could see them sitting Tim Ream, who's 39 years old. I could see them sitting Pulisic just because to let him rest. And so once you take away half the starting lineup, the guys who are going to put out there are strong. They're going to work their asses off, I'm sure. But I want to see what that lineup is before maybe these odds move a little bit. And if you can get US at even better than plus 100, I would take that.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to think about Turkey playing for nothing as well. Like, this could be a really open game state, though. I mean, so even if it is backups without as much skill, like you mentioned, a lot of guys who are key for holding down the interior for the U.S. and playing like solid knockout football, which they're going to need to going forward. But if they're just getting into this like freewheeling, like exhibition style with Turkey, which is how they want to play anyway, then maybe goals will be flowing and US will be able to show what they can do. I think they're minus 118 to score 2 in this one, whether you think they're going to win or not.
Say one thing too, though, the yellow cards reset just for the lineup stuff. The yellow cards reset at the end of the group stage here, and then they reset one more time after the quarterfinals. So once you get into the semis, so you are going to go into the round of 32 with a yellow card, or with 0 yellow cards, regardless of how many you get in this game. That would be the only difference in terms of why they might feel okay playing normal guys for a decent amount. But I'll let you get over to your bet too. I just want to make sure we all knew that, because it is a rule update change as well for this World Cup.
True. Yeah, it's going to be more about keeping guys in rhythm, rest versus rust, and having the 12 days off and kind of walking that fine line. And I do think that because of that, they're going to get some guys in for about a half. I mean, Sergino Dest is a young guy with clearly a pep in his step. And if there are, moving down the pecking order, like if you don't have Balogun out there, I think maybe there's a few more attacking opportunities. But I mean, this guy is just electric with the ball at his feet. I think he's been hunting for that goal. I think it's worth a look at 6-1 as far as somebody to get in there against a pretty bad Turkey defense, right? I mean, they like I said, like if you get that game state where it's going up and down, I think Sergino Dest is somebody who can make an impact.
I love when he's on the ball. Electric is totally the right word. He's so exciting to watch. He's had some unbelievable goals in his U.S. career. And so it's even this World Cup, he's been really dangerous. He's gotten close to scoring. I think this is at plus 600. Sure. Go for it.
Yeah, 6-1 for him is a pretty nice look there. I think there's probably some shots on goal stuff. I think Balogun will be out there looking to score early. So I think you can attack his aggressiveness in that one as well, where I think he'll be looking to put some stuff on frame. I think his shots right now are probably around like 3.5. I think you're getting a discount because there's the likelihood that he comes out if they're leading or even if they're tied and they just want to give him a rest at even around 65 minutes. But let me get over to another game from our friends to the north here, who are also having a historic tournament for themselves in Canada. They're going to take on the Swiss here. I believe we said that game's going to be in Vancouver there. So obviously still going to have the home field for Canada, which they've obviously had the whole World Cup. I think goals are coming in this one. We saw the Swiss just put it on Bosnia and Herzegovina like we were talking about earlier. We saw Canada put it on Qatar after they broke their the outside back's leg there. That Kone, I believe. That was brutal to watch, but it was an attacking onslaught at that point as the crowd was cheering for more goals. This one, I think the Swiss have to put it on them, right? They've definitely been a little bit more touch oriented. I'm trying to say possession oriented, focused on maintaining the ball in the midfield with Shaka, and that's where they build their attack from. But make no mistake, I think they're going to be plenty okay putting the ball on in the corners and looking to get crosses in. In addition to playing that, I just think they're going to be aggressive with that possession rather than being okay with sitting on it in the middle of the field like they normally are. I think they're going to keep pushing things up and being the ones to force that, because they're down 3 goals right now. That's the goal differential. And obviously the way that they tied Qatar was super disappointing. But it also showed their just lack of their sort of lack of focus at that time, because they come back and put 4 on Bosnia in the next game. I think they're going to be looking to put up at least 2 in this one. And if they're forcing the pressure, we know Canada's best offense is the counter, the ability to get it up top to Davis, and then the ability for guys like Alphonso Davies rather to move up down the line on the left side. I think that's going to be what they're looking to do at various times during the game. I don't think they're going to sit back on their laurels at all. They're going to have the home crowd behind them. That's going to really fuel them, I think, moving forward. So I'd love 3 goals in this game for plus money. If you want to take Canada with 3 goals as well, because you do think that they're going to maintain things, then that can also get you to about plus 480 or so. So either of those look good. But do you have any thoughts on this one, Mike?
Yeah, I like this over 2.5 in this game. Canada's conceded in both of their games so far. Swiss put up 4 the other day in a game that was scoreless until the 75th minute. And then all of a sudden you saw an explosion of goals. So I think this is possible here. Swiss had a high expected goals against Qatar, even though they only scored 1, and they scored 4 the other day. So it's a team that definitely creates chances. So that matched with Canada playing at home with a motivation to get a W, definitely could see goals in this one.
Yeah, the goals have been flowing here in the World Cup this time around. And I mean, I want to look at probably the best game of the group stage on paper. Just want to, get something down on this, even though as we speak, it's Monday night and Norway has just started playing. France has just finished mopping up Iraq. But what do you guys think as far as so it could be, if Norway wins against Senegal, this could be, for the group, it could be right down to the wire. What's the logic here as far as France, 2-1 on your money, winning by multiple goals, or would you rather go with Norway to cover a 2-goal spread?
France just keeps scoring. They've put up 6-7 goals in their 2 matches. They look unbelievably dangerous. Norway is way more attacking friendly. Haaland up top, Odegaard in the middle, but I don't think they've got some stout defense that it's going to cause France too many troubles. So I think these -1.5 bets in general have offered a lot of value so far in this World Cup. The major teams have won in some large differentials. And so I think that at plus 194, France can easily win this 2-0.
The -1.5 doesn't scare me, because I do think France is going to be capable of putting up 2 to 3, and Norway's going to have to come out of their shell a bit, and then you're basically looking at a little bit more of an onslaught. But Mike, I believe you're talking about Cape Verde here. You like them over Saudi Arabia. It is plus 140. I love this pick from watching their capabilities going forward, but there's nothing not to like going up against a team that's clearly going to finish at the bottom of the group.
Yeah, this is me, but
I'm sorry, Nate,
no, representing the Boston area, very heavily represented Cape Verdeans. Brock Damas in particular has a huge Cape Verdean population, and they've been lit here with the 2 draws, but now they finally get the worst team in the group. That's why they're expected to advance here, and I think they're going to be able to beat Saudi Arabia and handle business here. I mean, it's still kind of like playing with house money though, and you mentioned it. I mean, these dudes have skills going forward. I'm a little worried about the defense, but Cape Verde has a fantastic goalkeeper, and I don't think Saudi Arabia is really going to be able to test that defense too much. And I just think these explosive athletes going forward are going to be able to put pressure on a bad Saudi Arabia defense, which don't be fooled by the 1-1 draw against Uruguay, right? They allowed 27 shots, 14 corners. They allowed 92% of the passes to be completed for Uruguay. So, I mean, you talk about expected goals. Only getting 1 out of there is a big disappointment for them. But I think Cape Verde will be able to finish a few and come away with the win.
Yeah. Have you seen them play, Mike, Cape Verde? Because I was watching that Uruguay game.
That was an awesome game. I mean, these debutants to hold Spain scoreless for 90 and then take Uruguay, put them on the ropes, have the chance to win the game for sure. I mean, just an awesome story. So to get 3 points here, and I think that would get them second in the group. What an amazing story.
Yeah, that would be awesome for them. This is the one you were talking about here, Mike. You're looking at Egypt over Iran, and I do agree that Egypt is a better side, has looked like a better side. Iran definitely the beneficiaries of one, Belgium's just consistent underperformance and probably due somewhat to arrogance. And then the red card also helped them out, even though Belgium was still kind of putting it on them with just 10 guys towards the end. Kind of makes you think Egypt fully tooled here without a red card to start at full 11. They should be good for a couple goals against the Iranians.
Yeah, I mean, kind of unlike what we talked about in the U.S. game where there's question marks around lineups, this game is of consequence. Egypt and Belgium still fighting for that top spot in the group. And so I think here Egypt's got everything to play for and have looked pretty strong. Iran, I think, was definitely the beneficiary of Doku sitting out, being absent from the game against Belgium. And as you said, even down 10 men, Belgium was still pressuring and had a chance to win that game. So I think here Egypt is strong. Iran's point is against New Zealand, who I don't think is that strong of a team. Egypt made pretty easy work of them the other night. And so I think with that, Egypt gets the win here. And at plus 145, I just really like that value with everything to play for.
Yeah, Iran, don't forget, has to fly from Mexico to Seattle for this game, just for this game, and then leave again. So that is a disadvantage. And Egypt, yeah, I like the way they responded in New Zealand. I mean, they could have kind of gone on tilt, kind of like they got away with one with the ref there in New Zealand, and then got a corner, and then they were down 1-0 at halftime. But Egypt came out resoundingly in the second half and was just like, we're the superior team. We're just going to put them away. Mo Salah, Mo Betta looking real good. So yeah, I fully endorse this one.
Running down the line. That's right. And that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Appreciate you tuning in for the third episode here. Going to have one each week as we kick things off with the week. As we get into the knockout stage will be the next thing that we're looking at, I imagine, here. So best of luck to everybody in the final stages of betting of the group stage. Until we see you next, happy betting.